Okay guys, I've got a 2007 Kia Sorento all-wheel drive. The front axle is applied by an air pump that goes right here, and these air pumps go bad, and basically the air pump would come on and I could hold my finger over the output of the pump, and it wasn't pumping any air to speak of. I put a pressure gauge on it and it was less than half a pound, and it should be between 4 and 5 pounds. And basically I've already taken the pump out. I'll show you that in a minute, but the pump set here, when you turn your switch inside the four-wheel drive, it pumps compressed air down this pipe, which goes into the front differential, that activates a air diaphragm that engages the differential, so your front axle pulls, and it just wasn't working. So this vehicle has about 150,000 miles on it, but the actual pump went out at about 120,000 miles. And now we're coming into fall, so I figure I need to fix it before winter gets here. Well, I mean, it's late summer, but anyway, I got a few months. Here's electrical connector to it, and we'll go in and take a look at the pump now. Okay guys, here's the front differential actuation pump, and here's the output hose, the motor, and also there is a atmosphere port right here that no hose goes onto, so don't worry about it. A lot of people are worried. They look down at their pump and they see that it looks like there's a hose missing, but that's supposed to be that way. So just don't worry about it. You only have one hose on the output of the pump that goes to the steel line that then transfers the pressure into the differential. You'll see why I took this. Did have a sheath over it to cover these connections, and basically it's a 12-volt pump. I believe she's rated at 4 to 5 pounds, and it's put onto this mounting bracket. Well, I called Kia, and I believe they wanted over $450 just for the pump, not the bracket, just the pump, and plus tax, of course. And then so then I started looking online, and I found a lot, like 2 of these pumps on eBay for $250 used, and I kept looking at the pump thinking, you know, that's not even that's a $100 pump probably, and I wasn't going to pay $250 for one use. So the differential went out last fall, so I've had, you know, fall and spring and summer to look for a pump, and after, I don't know, it seemed like a couple of months, I finally happened on to one by using Google Images, and I just typed in differential pump and just went through thousands of images, and here's what I have now. You can see that we have I found the identical pump. This brand new, I found it on eBay actually, but I wasn't searching for the right thing. Of course, I was searching for Kia pumps. This actually is for a Jeep Wrangler with a Dana 44 differential in it, and I just happened upon it, and brand new is $159 plus $12 shipping. So about $171, $72, I got brand new pump. It's identical in every way. Even I took this sheath off because we've got 5 wires going into the sheath. I'll show you. So the actual pump has 3 wires up here and 2 wires going to the motor. They go into the sheath and then they come out. There's only 3. So I knew they were being soldered together inside there. So I cut off part of this sheath and I looked at what wires connected together to continue out this sheath and compared them with the original pump, and they're identical. Each wire that's soldered for the Kia together is soldered for the Jeep together. Now the only difference is the actual plug itself. Although similar, they're not identical. So what I have to do is we have a black, pink, and red wire going into the brand new plug, and we have the same color going in to the old plug. And what I'm going to do is just cut these wires right here, and cut these wires right here, and then solder the new wires onto the old connector and mount the pump, and we'll be ready to go. So let me see if I can't find all my soldering stuff before we get going, and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, basically what I did was the old pump was mounted here. I cut the wires. I left plenty of wires on the old connector, plenty of wire length I mean, so I'd have something to work with. And then I took the old pump off. I'm going to show you something here. Old pump, new pump. I mean, it is identical in every way. And the new pump here is made in Japan. So I mean, I'm sure it's the exact same pump that everybody's using. They just apply it to their application. The mounting holes are identical. Turn the pump around. I mean, it's the same thing. So yep, identical. It even, I found some specs online, it even has the same exact pressure specs, but of course this one sold for a Jeep or a Dana 44 differential. That one for a Kia, $159.95 for this one, or over $450 for this one at Kia. Or if you find a used one online, it's $250. But no need to buy a used one when you can get a new one, and all you have to do is change the end. So I'll give a shout out to the eBay seller, and I'll put it below here on the screen, but it's Jeeps R Us, and it's all spelled out JEEPSAREUS. And so I'll put more information in the description and stuff so you can find this same exact pump. And he's always got like 10 or more available, and I think something like I don't know, over 100 sold. So so anyway, save yourself some money and buy one of these pumps and adapt it to your Kia. Alright, I'll get back with you. Okay guys, basically I've mounted the new pump on the old bracket. It fit just perfect, as I knew it would, because it's identical pump. Now I just have to solder these wires up, and they're all identical colors, of course, so it's going to make it easy. First, I'm going to cut some shrink tubing to put over here before we do any soldering. Also, a little tip is when you buy your shrink tube, maybe not at Radio Shack or whatever, but if you buy it online, like at McMaster Car or an Industrial Supply online, you can get what's called dual wall shrink tubing, and what it has is, you can't hardly see it right here in the video, but it has a heat activated epoxy inside that coats that inner wall. So when you shrink this over a connector, that epoxy oozes out and melts all inside, and it makes a watertight connection. And it really doesn't cost much more than regular shrink tubing. So it's dual wall shrink tubing. And anyway, we'll do some cutting here and slide them on. Now we'll strip our insulation back and we'll twist them together, and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, I've already stripped back about 7/16 to a ½ inch on all the wire insulation. I've twisted all the wires tight, and so if I work it just right, I can make a straight solder connection here. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but as you can see, like that. Can't get it to focus here. Anyway, if you make a straight, wind them around where they're a straight connection, then it's going to be easier to slide the shrink tubing up over after you've soldered it. And so I don't knock things out of place, I'm going to twist one together, solder it, then I'll move on. So I don't, if I twist them all together like this and then solder them all at one time, then I run the chance of knocking them loose and just making extra work. So I'm just going to twist one together, solder it, and then move on. Okay, what you want to do is you want to use rosin core solder. I got this at Radio Shack. It's just a real small diameter, so you kind of size your solder to the joint you're soldering. I also have a little larger diameter solder that if I'm doing a larger wire, I'd use a larger soldering iron and a larger diameter solder. But anyway, for this one I'm just going to use the smallest diameter I have. So basically, you turn your soldering iron on, or gun, whatever, make sure it's up to heat, and then I apply a little bit of solder to the tip, and then put the tip to the joint. And what you want to do is make sure that the solder flows all the way through the joint, where you still, you heat it from this side, you apply your solder at the point where your iron is, but then you come back around and make sure that you're able to melt the solder on the opposite side of where you've put your iron. And then once it melts, then and flows, then you should see a nice contour around the wires over here. You can actually still see the wires, but I know that the solder has flowed completely through the joint by applying the heat over here and then applying the solder on this side. So once the solder melts, you've got a full joint there. And so since it's sitting there so nice, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up my shrink tube, and we'll take care of that. Actually, I've got overkill. I've got a big Burns-O-Matic torch. All you need is a lighter or a match, but I'll just be real careful. There we go. I can see the epoxy. You may not be able to see it, but I can see the epoxy coming out of the top, and there's epoxy out of the bottom too. So I know that's a good waterproof joint now. So I'm going to continue and get them all soldered on there, and then get back with you. Okay guys, here's the old connector soldered to the new wires, same color match. The new pump, mounted to my old Kia bracket. It's just a matter of putting the hose back onto the new pump and then putting it back on the vehicle, which is pretty it's real easy to get off. It's and she'll plug right back in and pump just like a new one, because it is a new one. So the $450 from Kia plus tax, say you spent $475 at Kia, as opposed to basically $175 online for a new Jeep part that's identical part. I mean, that's quite a bit of savings. And then as opposed to buying a used pump on eBay or online for $250 and not knowing what you have, this is for less than what a used pump cost. By 50, 75 bucks, you got a brand new one. The only difference is you're just going to have to solder the old plug onto the new wires, and that's very easy. So this whole job probably was a 20-minute job, and so 20 minutes to save a couple $100 or more. Brand new pump, yeah, that's worth it. So there you go. For all you people out there that cannot find a new pump for your Kia front differential, just look for one that fits a Jeep, and I'll put all the info in the bottom here, and so you can have all the info to get you one. Okay guys, I've got the pump mounted. You can see it down here. It's relatively easy to get to. It has one electrical connector and one hose, and that's it. So I want to give you guys a couple of tips on how to check this out. If you put your vehicle, turn your key in the on position, put your vehicle in four-wheel drive, this pump and the differential actuator will engage. So you'll hear a little clicking in the differential actuator, basically on your transfer case. You'll hear something there, and then this pump will come on just for like a second. Sometimes you don't even hear it, and what it does is it pressurizes that line, and then it satisfies the pump. There must be some type of pressure regulator in there, and then it turns the pump off. And so if it's working right, it'll just come on for a second or two and turn off and be quiet, just like it is now. So where you know you've got issues is if you put it in four-wheel drive with the key in the on position, and you come up here and your pump is running constantly, or it's running for 5 seconds, then goes off for a second or two, then runs for 5 seconds. It should only run for a second or two, then turn off. And the only reason it would come back on is if there's a leak in this rubber line, or the steel line it connects to has got a leak in it, and there's also a rubber connector line down the differential. If any of those are leaking or seeping, this pump will be coming on and off. If those lines check out fine, then it'll be your differential actuator diaphragm, which is inside the differential, which is basically an air bellow, and when the pump comes on, it pushes out and it engages some teeth in there, some gears. And if that diaphragm in your front differential is leaking, then this pump will be on all the time. So you first have to make sure all your connectors is fine, and then see if your pump's putting out 4 to 5 pounds of pressure. And then an easy way of checking the front differential diaphragm, the actuator, is you pull the line off right here where the pump goes in the steel line, and you take a vacuum pump and you put a vacuum on it, or you can just put a hose on there and pull a vacuum with your mouth and put your tongue over the hose, and it should hold. Just to make a long story short, I had to change the actuator in my differential because my pump was running all the time, and when I'd pull a vacuum on the hose, it would pull differential grease up. And what had happened was the actuator went out in the differential, and this pump wasn't working. And when the pump was in the off position, grease was being pushed up in here, and I think that's what ruined my pump. So I had a compound problem. So I changed the diaphragm in the differential, which is not an easy task. And I should have got that on video, but I didn't. And then when I checked the pump out, it was only pumping a half a pound of pressure, and I knew that the pump was bad also. And so I've already checked all this out. It works. My front differential engages, and there's no issues now.